A very good evening to all my dear students. Welcome for today's interactive and fruitful session on the chapter 3, Prospectus and Allotment of Securities. Good evening, Abhinav Mishra, Sahil Kumar, Kuldeep Nagar, Geeta, Deepika, Gunjan Devi. A very warm welcome to each one of you for today's session. I hope students, you have revised what we have done in the previous class. Definition of security and prospectus. We have briefly discussed about how the public company invites the public for the prospectus, on the basis of prospectus, inviting the public to take up the shares in their company, and how a private company is prohibited from going to the public because private company can only go for a private placement. However, a public company can go for IPO, FPO. IPO is initial public offer. FPO is further public offer, and they can do OFS, that is offer for sale of securities, and by way of rights issue, bonus issue. However, private placement can also be done by a public company. So let's have a quick recap as we always follow, asking questions to the students. Good evening, Indrani, Miss Fatima, Shamli Sharma, all of you. Welcome to the class, children. So what are the rights issue and bonus issue? Are we offering the rights and the bonus shares to the outsiders or the existing shareholders? Everyone in the chat box. Yes, I can see your answers. Excellent. Right issue and bonus shares are given to the existing shareholders. Okay, the second question is, can only public company give the right issue and bonus issue, or both the companies? Private company can also come up for the rights issue and bonus issue. Both the companies, Shamli, Kuldeep, Harsh, Nitya, Deepika, Prajapati, Riya, Abhinav, Julie Kumari, Adil Khan, everybody says both can come up, which is correct. Now, the next question is, there is a company, ABC Limited. It has decided to invite a selected group of people for taking up shares in their company by writing private and confidential. Sorry. Can they do a private placement? No, they cannot, because it's a private company. Pooja says yes. It's ABC Limited. Private company can anyways do a private placement. Why are you saying no, private company cannot do private? Geeta, why are you saying no? So I said ABC Limited wants to come up with a private placement. Can they do that now, Tim? Yes, absolutely correct. And Keravi Gupta, very good. Yes, Adil, everybody. Can private company do private placement? Again, the answer is yes, absolutely. Can private company do the public offer? No, private company cannot do the public offer. Very good. So everybody is back on the track, and we have had a quick revision. What was the difference between the public companies having public offer and how the private company can issue the securities? After that, definition of security was done. The units of mutual fund scheme, are they part of securities definition? Yes or no? When I stop the screen share, I can read your chat box messages clearly. So yes is the correct answer. Are ULIPs considered as security? Absolutely correct. Everybody has answered it correctly. No is the correct answer. So what is the definition of prospectus? There are 4 types of things included in the prospectus. Any document through which we are inviting the public to take up the shares in a company. includes shelf prospectus, red herring prospectus, and any advertisement and notice through which we are offering to the public to take up the shares in a company is known as prospectus. So deemed prospectus, abridged prospectus, shelf prospectus, red herring prospectus is the content for today's session, which we are going to do in detail about all these various types of prospectus. We will be studying and understanding section 25, 26 we have done in the last class, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 and 32 till 33 we'll try to complete in today's session. So section 24 simply told us that SEBI will be regulating for the listed company all the securities which are getting listed. However, for other matters, we are going to refer to the CG, tribunal or registrar. So what was the deemed prospectus? There was a company, ABC Limited, who has gone to the issuing house asking them to offer the securities for sale to the public. The document which this issuing house will use for offering the securities is known as, shall be known as, in the chat box immediately everyone, deemed prospectus. Excellent, excellent. So when we say it's a deemed prospectus, can we say section 26, 34 and 35 will become applicable to them? Absolutely, yes, they will become applicable. All the sections of 25, 26, 34, 35 liability will become applicable. But what were the two presumptive conditions to be satisfied? The securities should be offered within 6 months of allotment, or the full consideration has not been received. Any one of this condition is satisfied, then it will be considered as a deemed prospectus. What are the three additional matters to be stated? All the matters of section 26 will be stated in this deemed prospectus. Apart from that, net consideration received, whatever underlying contract has been made for the allotment of these securities, the time and place where they can be inspected, and the persons making the offer were named in the prospectus as directors of the company. All these people will be shown, all these matters will be shown in the deemed prospectus. And who shall be signing? At least 2 directors if it's a company, half of the partners in case of a partnership firm. Then we did the contents of the prospectus. It should be dated and signed, declaration, statement, report submission as per SEBI and CG guidelines. Experts' consent will be taken in writing. He is not engaged in the formation of company and the consent has not been withdrawn. If these 3 points are satisfied, then experts' consent will also be included in the prospectus. What were the 2 exceptions? Prospectus is not applicable in 2 cases. Tell me in the chat box immediately, all of you. Every very good. I can see 5 answers. Very good, Kuldeep. For the previous ones, Abhinav Mishra, Deepika, yes. When prospectus is issued to existing members, Fatima, absolutely correct. Second point, Indrani. Very good students. Karavi Gupta, everybody is answering. Harsh Mishra, already quoted on stock exchange. So what do we call them? When the uniform shares are being issued, which are already there on the stock exchange, their information has already been sent. So there is no need of issuing the prospectus once again. Is that clear, all of you? Fifty days, 100 days, or 90 days of filing with the registrar. What is the correct answer for this one? Yes. Very good, Abhinav Mishra, 90 days. Kuldeep, 90 days. Deepika, 90 days. Everybody is correct. Good. So we have had a quick revision of section 23, 24, 25, as well as 26. Any contravention, the penalty is 50,000 to rupees 3 lakhs. We did this test your knowledge questions in the previous class. Now we are going to start with section 27 and 28. We will complete and then we will jump to the question answers and then we'll complete the further chapter. So variation in terms of the contract, children, I told you in the last lecture that prospectus is a very important document. It is the basic document of the company on the basis of which investors are going to take a decision. They're going to take a call whether to invest money in your company or not. Therefore, the funds which you have raised from the public should be strictly used as per the terms and conditions contained in the prospectus. Means you cannot, as per your own sweet will, you cannot change the terms and conditions. TNC जो contract में prospectus में लिखा है, आप अपनी मर्जी से उसे बदल नहीं सकते. क्योंकि say for example, you are into a business of construction company who is going to construct the flats and societies for people. So I thought it's a good company and the share price will be increasing tomorrow because increasing demand, the demand for these construction societies will be increasing. So I invested my money. I am Mr. A, a shareholder. I invested my money in your company thinking that your goals are in line with my goals also where I wanted to invest. But tomorrow this construction company changes and says that we are into construction of malls or the highway roads. So the purpose is correct, they're into construction, but I invested because you were into construction of society flats. Now you are changing your purpose. You're not into flats, you're changing it into malls or highway roads or other commercial transactions. So I was interested in the residential property share price. You are a commercial property now. Don't you think I will be little pinched because you have changed your terms for which you have raised the money from me? So Mr. A is a member of public. Funds were raised from it. It is supposed to be as per the terms of contract. So but the company wanted to change its prospectus because the objective has been changed. Company के shareholders ने फैसला कर लिया कि अब हम residential flats नहीं बनाएंगे. Competition बहुत ज़्यादा है. हम malls and commercial transactions में जाएं. So law under section 27 gives you a permission that if you're going to make such variation का मतलब क्या होता है? पहले बेटा अपने हाथ से ना सारी ये चीजें लिख लिया करो ऊपर टॉपिक के. Changes, variation means changes, बदलाव, क्या क्या बदलाव ला सकते. So what kind of changes? If you're going to do any kind of changes, prior approval by special resolution in general meeting is required. I told you in the last class, special resolution means at least 75% of the shareholders should be saying yes for the thing, then only it can happen. Now, if you ask me, ma'am, what is special resolution? What is ordinary resolution? When we do chapter MGT, that is management and administration, here we will understand what is general meeting, how SR is passed, how OR is passed. अभी के लिए याद करने के लिए SR means कम से कम 73/4 of the value of shareholders ने अगर हाँ करी है, तभी ये चीज मुमकिन हो सकती है. In English, at least 3/4 of the shareholders have said yes, then only these things are possible. So prior approval by special resolution has to be taken and it shall be published in newspaper, one in English and one in vernacular newspaper. And it should also be placed on the website of the company. The amount so raised for buying or dealing in equity shareholders for the shares of any other listed company. Now this, how are you going to do the changes? Number one, law says that you cannot change. Number one, it says that, listen, you cannot change your objective for which the money has been raised. But number 2 point, it says, if you want to change, please pass in SR and publish this resolution. Whatever decision you have taken, newspaper mein chhap do usko, English newspaper mein and vernacular. What is the meaning of vernacular? So if I am in Delhi, then Hindi is a vernacular language over there. They understand. Then in Hindi newspaper. If I am in Mumbai, then Maharashtra, then Marathi is their language, which they understand. So the state where your RO is situated, where your office is situated, where your major shareholders are there. So in that local newspaper, basically, they're trying to tell you, where the registered office is situated, in that particular place, where whatever language is understood. South mein ho, Tamil hai, Telugu hai, then in that particular newspaper, so that everybody should understand what resolution you have passed. And also please place it on the website of the company. तो एक अखबार में इश्तिहार निकाल देना और एक कंपनी की वेबसाइट पे छाप. In the newspaper, English as well as vernacular, local newspaper, as well as on the website of the company, so that all the people know that for what purpose your money is now going to be used. Now, third point, I was Mr. A who is feeling really bad. So I am known as resenting shareholders. I do not approve this thing. I invested for the flats. You are investing in malls. I want to exit the company. I don't want to continue with this company. So the dissenting shareholders can be given the exit offer by the promoters or the biggest shareholders who are controlling the affairs of the company according to the rules specified by SEBI. So they will say, Mr. A, you come. Whatever is your share price on today's date, you can exit the company. Dissenting shareholders का हिंदी में मतलब होता है नाराज लोग, जो नाराज हैं, मतलब इस चीज को हामी नहीं भर रहे, अप्रूवल नहीं दे रहे, है ना. आपने सुना हुआ है ना मूवीज में, जैसे हम कहते हैं नाराज फूफा जी अगर शादी में आए हैं तो उन्होंने कोई ना कोई नुक्स निकालना ही. So jokes apart, that is known as dissenting shareholder. Means somebody who is upset with your changes. I am not happy. I am not agreeing. I am not going to approve this. So they will be called and invited, and they will be said that, okay, you can leave the organization. You can have an exit offer. You can exit from this by the promoters. They will be given a chance. So if Mr. A has already had the share of rupees 10, and on the date when he is exiting, the share price is rupees 8, then at rupees 8 per share, he will be given the chance to do the exit offer. So number one, special resolution will be passed under section 27 through postal ballot. How are you going to pass the special resolution? It is not necessary that you all come to the office and then pass the special resolution. You will be given a chance. You will be given a chance to directly post it through the through post. You can send your resolutions. Okay. Let me see if anybody is raising any query. Anubhav Malik. Okay, all the points are correct for the previous one. Yes, Anil, it means local language. Absolutely correct. Sangeet Vani, yes, absolutely correct. So postal ballot, that means you can pass the special resolution through postal ballot also. That is also possible. So what will this special resolution contain? What was the original purpose and objective? How much money has been raised? How much money has already been used for those flats, society flats? How much money are we now thinking for the proposed objective? Unutilized amount. All these details will be given in this special resolution, and the advertisement for this notice will be done in form PAS1. So the first form of this chapter, we hardly have few forms only in this chapter. So I would request each one of you, the way I told you, that on a separate sheet of paper, you keep on writing the penalties. अभी तक हमने सिर्फ सेक्शन 26 की पेनल्टी पढ़ी है, तो आपके नोट्स में वहां चला जाएगा सेक्शन 626 कॉन्ट्रवेंशन पेनल्टी 50,003. एक सेपरेट शीट आपने लेनी है, फॉर्म्स के लिए बनानी है, रिस्पेक्टिव चैप्टर के लिए. वहां पे आप लिखोगे सेक्शन 27 variations advertisement to be given in the newspaper. PAS1 form is used. Published simultaneously with the dispatch of notice. Notice आएगा and साथ ही PAS1 form में जाएगा. I will show you today PAS1 form, and also I remember that I have to show you that Nyka's prospectus, Mahindra का share prospectus भी देखेंगे. So these practical things also we are going to see today in the class. Also place this notice on the website of the company. Dissenting shareholders shall be given an exit offer by the promoters as per the rules specified in the SEBI. So this thing is again repeated in the rules. So we have already done this thing in section 27. Now we are understanding rule 7 of the company's rules. So I told you one thing, that when we do companies acts, there are major part of the things which is given under the company's rules. So act and rules both go side by side. Mr. Chavan, you understood that point, dissenting shareholder very nicely. Good. I have read what you have written, so that's nice. Mr. Mustafa is saying, ma'am, I joined late. I hope I've not missed. So we are just doing section 27. I'm sure you have not missed anything much. What's the amount so raised? Mr. Anil is asking, ma'am, what's the amount? So what's the amount so raised means कितना पैसा अभी तक हम shareholder से ले चुके थे, कितना पैसा public से हम ले चुके हैं, how much amount has already been raised and what are the objectives, proposed objectives पे हम कितना पैसा लगाने का सोच रहे हैं, ये सारी डिटेल्स हमने रूल 7 में देनी. Okay, so we will now complete section 28 and then we will go and read each and every line from the study materials. Now comes another topic, OFS. OFS means offer of sale of shares. I told you we have one method of raising shares, that is IPO. And then further shares you want to raise, then you come up with FPO. But there is a shareholder, Mr. A, who is holding 100 shares in your company. He wants to sell 10 of his shares to a public. So he approaches the company and tells that company, since you are being managed by big promoters and investors, why don't you sell my 10 shares? Why don't you sell my 10 shares to the public in the market? So rather than the shareholder himself going, he is requesting the company to sell their shares in the market. So that is known as offer of sale of shares. यहाँ पे हम shares को बेच रहे हैं. Shareholder के shares को बेचकर we are taking money from the public. So in this case, since it's a very big decision, approval of board of directors is required. किसकी approval चाहिए यहाँ पे offer of sale में? Board of directors approval is required. Those members who are offering their shares shall authorize the company to take all the steps for this set off. So Mr. A is the shareholder who is selling the shares. He will authorize the company. He will allow the company to take all the steps, whatever steps are necessary for selling my shares in the public. And whatever expenditure will be incurred by the company for making this offer of sale, who will reimburse? Mr. A, the member whose shares are being sold in the market, he will reimburse all these expenditures which are being incurred by the company. And this document which the company is going to use, to which the offer for sale will be made, shall deem to be a prospectus, and all the provisions of section 26, 34, 35 misstatement of liabilities will become applicable. So what is happening in section 28? I am a shareholder of company ABC Limited. I have 100 shares. I want to sell my 10 shares. I went to the company and said that, please, can you sell my shares in the market? Number one, board of directors approval will be required. Number two, I will authorize the company with all the necessary steps to be taken for selling my shares in the market. Number three, whatever expenditures will be incurred by the promoters, directors for doing this thing, I will reimburse them as a shareholder. And number four, when the company offer my shares to the public, the document that they will use shall deem to be a prospectus, and all provisions of section 26, 34, 35 will become applicable to them. So that means, ma'am, section 28 talks about deemed prospectus. Was there any other section that has spoken about deemed prospectus? Write it down in the chat box. Was there any other section that has spoken about? Mr. Anil, I'll tell you about that minimum subscription. Yes, Shamli, section 25, Kuldeep. Excellent. Who else? Ria. Very nice. Kyarivi, Deepika. So understood in both the cases. Sangeet Pani. Excellent. Section 25 was there. Here we are doing. Prayajot. Mr. Prayajot. Good. Section 25. Great. समझ आ गया सबको. आगे चले. However, there are certain exceptions. Some of the provisions of prospectus will not apply to OFS. कहते हैं OFS को कुछ provisions applicable नहीं है. जैसे कि provisions related to minimum subscription. Minimum subscription means how much amount the public has subscribed for the shares. One is authorized share capital, issued share capital, subscribed share capital, called up and paid up and unpaid. Remember? So subscribed, कितनी minimum subscription होनी चाहिए थी? As per SEBI, there are certain guidelines given under section 39. There we will understand what is the meaning of subscription, minimum subscription and minimum application value. So SEBI says minimum 5% of the application money should have been received. If it is rupees 10 per share, so minimum 5 rupees should have been received. But this provision for OFS is not applicable. Minimum subscription is not applicable. ये दोनों चीजें क्या होती हैं बेटा, वो हम section 39 में we will understand. Provisions related to statement made by board of directors for the utilization of money. Now, generally what happens is when the prospectus is issued, prospectus is issued to the public, right? And people take up the shares in a company and they invest their money. Now, when this money is taken by company ABC Limited, board of directors have to prepare a utilization statement कि हम ये पैसा कहाँ utilize करेंगे. Where are we going to utilize this money? This statement is prepared by board of directors. But tell me one thing, children, OFS में किसके shares हैं? ये तो Mr. A के shares हैं. So why will directors decide the utilization statement? ये तो हम Mr. A को दे देंगे money जो भी आएगी shares बेचकर. So here, utilization statement by board of directors is not required. Any other information which cannot be gathered, it is also not applicable. So koi bhi information which we were not able to collect for the non-compliance with the justification of non-compliance, that is also not applicable. And the last point is whosoever is the person who is bearing the cost of offer for sale has to be disclosed, because that is the person who will be allotted the reimbursement, right? I told you reimbursement has to be given. So you please have to name this person. So I hope, Anil Golti, your point is clear now. Minimum subscription and application is not applicable over here. Okay. So what are the 4 things which are not applicable under Rule 8 for Section 28? That is minimum subscription, minimum application money, and provisions for the board of directors to make the utilization statement is not applicable. Any other information which cannot be collected is also not applicable. Do we need to name the persons who are bearing the cost? Yes, their name has to be disclosed. Why it has to be disclosed? Because shareholder is going to give them the reimbursement for whatever expenditures they have incurred. Not able to gather information, Kuldeep, it means any other information which cannot be gathered by the offerer. Offerer means the one who is offering to sell his shares with justification for non-compliance. Means कोई भी ऐसी information जो हमें नहीं मिल पाई जिससे कोई non-compliance नहीं हो. Simple सी बात. So that is also not applicable. There is not, whatever the law decides, any other information which you cannot find, that is okay. It's okay with that. It is not going to affect OFS. But what is the difference between OFS and IPO and FPO? Children, in IPO and FPO, new shares are coming up. Capital is being raised from the public. However, under OFS, please write down, no new shares have come up. Only the shareholding pattern has been changed. पहले मिस्टर ए के पास 100 शेयर्स थे, उसने 10 बेच दिए, अब 90 शेयर्स रह गए. तो किसी और ने, मिस्टर बी ने, अब वो 10 शेयर्स लिए. तो शेयर होल्डिंग पैटर्न चेंज हुआ है. अब ए के नाम पे 90 है, बी के नाम पे 10 है. बट द शेयर, नो न्यू शेयर्स हैव बीन इश्यूड. नो न्यू कैपिटल हैज बीन रेज्ड. कैपिटल भी उतनी रहती है. हमने तो जहां इससे पैसा लिया वो ए को दे दिया. सिर्फ एक मीडिएटर की तरह हेल्प करिए. शेयर्स बिकवाएं. Anubhav, we'll be going in the module, don't worry. You know that I always try to do the things from the notes first, and then we read each and every line of the module, because module is the Bible for us. Everybody has understood here? Let's open the study material now. All right. Visible, children? Study material. Page number, Kuldeep is asking 3.15. Variation, everybody's clear. So you can mark down the points in your module also, that the contract cannot be varied, but the authority of special resolution has to be taken. It should be indicated in the newspaper, clearly written. Amount so raised shall be used only for the purpose for which it has been decided. Dissenting shareholders shall be given the exit offer at the exit price. I told you whatever is the exit price on that date, accordingly they will are going to exit. And as per the terms and conditions which are laid down in SEBI. क्या हमें याद करनी है वो टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस? नहीं, उसने बोला सेबी जो कहेगा वो करना है, ये लाइन हमें पता होनी चाहिए. अभी मैं इस एग्जांपल पे आती हूँ, पहले मैं आपको फटाफट से वो दिखा. ऑफर फॉर सेल, बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स बताएंगे. ऑफर फॉर सेल के लिए जो हम यूज करते हैं, शैल डीम टू बी अ प्रोस्पेक्टस, कंपनी को ऑथराइज करना है सारे स्टेप्स लेने के लिए एंड रीइंबर्स करने. सेम 4 पॉइंट्स. Minimum subscription application is not applicable. Utilization is not applicable. Information which cannot be complied or gathered, or with the detailed justifications for not being able to comply, is also not applicable. वो कहते हैं ये सारी चीजें ऑफर फॉर सेल को एप्लीकेबल नहीं. वैसे तो सेक्शन 23 to 41 and rules will be applicable. However, minimum subscription, minimum application and utilization statement is not applicable, and any information which cannot be gathered is also not. Prospectus issued under section 828 will disclose the name of the person along with the reasons. You are asking this, Anubhav? Reason means भी reason तो बता, क्या cost bear करी है? आपने कहा मैडम जी खर्चा हो गया 100 रुपए, किस चीज का खर्चा हुआ बताओगे नहीं? Cost of making the offer along with the reason where you have spent this money. All right, understood? Okay. Now let's do other funds raised in the given prospectus. Doctrine of ultra vires. Remember doctrine of ultra vires? Who is going to remind us what was doctrine of ultra vires? Company should use the funds strictly according to the prospectus or whatever is written in the memorandum of association. Any deviation has to be pre-approved by the investors. Recall option needs to be given to the dissenting investors. Deviation regarding the use for buying and trading and dealing is not permitted. You cannot deviate how the proceeds has been used. But if you're changing, a special resolution has to be passed. And this SR will be passed by postal ballot, means आप घर बैठे ही vote कर रहे हो. And the contents will be included in the notice. PS1 form has to be used. ये सारे points बच्चे आपके rule के हैं. Rule 7 के उसने points आपको यहाँ दे दिए जो मैंने आपको presentation में अभी करवा रहे हैं. Very good, Kervi Gupta. Anything outside the prospectus is null and void. Absolutely, Mustafa. Only the share pattern has changed. No new shares have been issued. Harsh Mishra, excellent. Beyond the object clause. Anubhav Mishra, absolutely correct. Then you go in the secondary market and you sell the shares. But section 28 has given you the eligibility that why don't you go to the company and make an offer for sale through prospectus only, they will sell your shares. Okay. Okay, thank you, Sangeet Pani, for writing. It's clear. So that's great. In case variation is made in terms of contracts or objective, which of the statement is not true? What shall be passed? Notice will be given, published in 2 newspapers. Amount so raised can be invested only in equity shares, which is not true. Only A and third, first and second, first and third, second and third. If you all have chosen C, please give me the reasons why. Okay, good, Anubhav, you have understood. That's great. Okay, Shamli, you say C. Chavan says C. My question is why? क्योंकि मैम ओआर नहीं पास होती है, एसआर पास होती है, नोटिस तो देना ही है. अमाउंट कैन बी इन्वेस्टेड, ऐसा कभी हमने बोला कि अमाउंट सिर्फ उसी में इन्वेस्ट करना है? ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है. सो इट इज नॉट. अंडरस्टूड? In case of Superfix IT Limited, some of the members of the company offer a part of their holding of shares. So I have taken the example of one shareholder, बच्चे, Mr. A का. यहाँ पे बहुत सारे members of the company are offering their shareholding to the public in consultation with board of directors, wherein company took all the actions for carrying out this transaction and incurred expenditure of 3.2 lakhs for doing this transaction. Can the company recover the amount in full? Raise your hands and answer me this one. Who is going to raise their hand and answer me for this illustration? Yes, Mr. Chubb.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
So, where a company incurs expenses for offer of sale of shares for the members of the company, there the members will be required to reimburse the expenses to the company.
Absolutely correct. So that is the provision of the case. And you will say in this instant case, they have incurred 3.2. So conclusion is yes, they should reimburse. Also, you will tell them that members are selling their shares in consultation with board of directors. They will authorize the company to take all the steps, and whatever steps have been taken, they will reimburse for all the expenses. Clear to everyone, children? Let's quickly complete section 29 also from here. Offer of securities to be in dematerialized form. What is the meaning of demat form? एक होता है physical form of shares, एक होता है demat. Demat means Shamli says electronic, संगीतमणि says online. So आज की डेट में सब कुछ ही ऑनलाइन है, तो शेयर सर्टिफिकेट्स भी डीमैट फॉर्म में ऑनलाइन होते हैं. कुलदीप says virtual mode. Okay, dematerialized. Yes. So how do we have these demat forms? So it says public companies, earlier they used to, public and private, both the companies used to issue the shares. Yes, its accounts is with depositories. Absolutely correct. So earlier we used to issue the shares in physical and demat form, but now every company who is doing a public offer, they have to make their securities in dematerialized form. So every listed public company, only the company which is obviously when you're listing your shares, then only that's why you're offering your shares for the public, right? According to the Depositories Act. अब वो कहते हैं ये ना जो चैप्टर है ना बेटा, बहुत सारा सिक्योरिटीज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट रेगुलेशन एक्ट के साथ मैच करता है. टोल्ड यू व्हेन वी डिड कंटेंट्स, सेबी की रेगुलेशंस बहुत ज्यादा ओवररूल करती है. तो हमने क्या पढ़ना है? हमने सिर्फ कंपनीज एक्ट 2013 में ही रहना, बट जहां जहां रेफरेंस है वो हमें अंडरस्टैंड करना. सो दे आर ट्राइंग टू टेल यू, डिपॉजिटरीज एक्ट में ये कहा गया है कि अगर आप कोई भी पब्लिक ऑफर कर रहे हो तो आपकी सिक्योरिटीज जो है वो डीमैट फॉर्म में होनी चाहिए. यू हैव टू कंप्लाई विद द प्रोविजंस ऑफ दैट. Subsection 1A was inserted, which said the class of unlisted companies should also hold the shares in demat. कहते भाई ये तो बात हो रही है लिस्टेड कंपनी की, जिनकी सिक्योरिटीज लिस्टेड है ऑन द स्टॉक एक्सचेंज, उनको तो डीमैट में करना ही करना है एज पर द कॉस्ट. But now a provision, section 29 is basically for the unlisted companies, subsection 1 inserted, that they should also hold and transfer the shares in demat. Further, it says any other company convert its securities into demat form. So if you're an unlisted public company, please convert your securities into demat form. Issue the securities in the physical form only according to the provisions of the act. Issue the securities in demat according to the depository acts. पहले तो कहते हैं convert कर दो, अगर आपके पास कोई securities है जो physical form में, उसे demat में चढ़ा दो. जो भी इशू कर रहे हो फिजिकल फॉर्म में वो एक्ट के अकॉर्डिंग करना, एंड जो भी सिक्योरिटीज डीमैट फॉर्म में इशू कर रहे हो वो कौन से एक्ट के अकॉर्डिंग करनी है? डिपॉजिटरी एक्ट. सो रूल 9 ऑफ डीमटेरियलाइजेशन एंड 9A ऑफ unlisted public companies was earlier given is relevant for the procedure for public offer to be made. Now, Rule 9 and Rule 9 is reference is given. How we are going to do it? Every company who is making a public offer should have their shares on Demat, and only the class of the shares in Demat only. Entire holding of convertible securities by the promoters shall be converted before making any public offer. So for the unlisted company, Rule 9 has been made that before you offer your shares, it has to be in Demat form. And Demat में कैसे hold करोगे? As per the Depositories Act. यही हमने अभी बुक में भी पढ़ा. रूल 9A में प्रोसीजर दिया गया है, जो कि मैंने बेयर एक्ट से लेकर आपका थोड़ा सा लिख दिया है यहाँ पे, बट आपको लर्न नहीं करना है, सिर्फ अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए एक बार नजर मार लेते हैं कि अनलिस्टेड पब्लिक कंपनीज को क्या करनी है, सिक्योरिटीज अब डीमैट में ही इशू करनी है. This was decided on 2nd October 2018. It was decided every holder of securities of unlisted public company who want to get the securities in demat form should subscribe to the securities, and existing securities are already in demat form. So जो आप नई इशू कर रहे हो, any company who want to offer the securities buybacks before entire holding directors KMPs has to be as per dematerialization. तो पहली बात में तो 9A सिर्फ यही बोल रहा है कि सारी जो भी सिक्योरिटीज अनलिस्टेड पब्लिक कंपनी की है वो अब डीमैट फॉर्म में होनी चाहिए. कंपनी के लिए फैसिलिटेट करा जाता है डीमैटेरियलाइजेशन किस तरह से करनी है. दे विल टेक ए इंटरनेशनल सिक्योरिटी आइडेंटिफिकेशन नंबर विल बी गिवन. दे विल इन्फॉर्म दिस सिक्योरिटी होल्डर अबाउट दिस फैसिलिटी. Unlisted public company will make the payment of the fees to the depository, registrar to issue and share transfer agent. 3 parties होती है इसमें इन्वॉल्व. Depository, registrar to issue and share transfer agent, जो आपका शेयर ट्रांसफर करता है. इन तीनों पार्टीज को ये आइडेंटिफिकेशन नंबर बता दिया जाएगा, एंड दे विल हेल्प यू इन ट्राई पार्टी एग्रीमेंट. दे विल एंटर एंड हेल्प योर शेयर्स टू गेट इनटू डीमैट. Security deposit of not less than 2 years will be given to them. However, this rule is not applicable to Nidhi companies, government company, and wholly owned subsidiary company. Now, this is a detailed procedure, children, which is given under 9A. Since it's not given in your module, so it was just for a reference, for a reading, so that you understand how actually the dematerialization is done. Sangeetmani, which MCQ is not clear, bacha? Ask me. Sangeetmani, you were asking something. Page 3.17. Okay, I'll explain it. Page 3.17 MCQ is not clear. Which one? This one? So here he is trying to tell you any variation under section 27, we are making changes in the prospectus. Then which statements are not true? Tell me, Sangeetmani, can we make ordinary resolution can be passed? Yes or no? No, ma'am. So that means following are the statements which are not true, means this is not correct. So this is not correct, right? This is not correct, that this cannot happen. Okay. But notice will be given, shall be published in 2 newspapers. Is this information correct? Yes, ma'am, this is correct. So we cannot say that this is not true. And the third information is also not true. So what will be the correct option? Third information is true, you mean to say. Is there anywhere written under section 27 how this amount has to be utilized only in equity shares? Aisa kuch bhi likha hai, have they written this thing? It's not written, right? So what will be assumed? That first and third are the correct options which are not. So this will be the correct answer. Understood? Okay, now okay, that's great. Section 29 का अनुभव मलिक. Okay, अनुभव. Subsection 2 simply tries to tell you any other company means unlisted company. Please convert your securities into demat form. If you're issuing in physical form, please do it as per the provisions of Companies Act. यहाँ पे लिख लो, provisions of this act means provisions of Companies Act, please write it down. फिजिकल फॉर्म में करना है तो कंपनीज एक्ट में करना, नहीं तो डीमैट में कन्वर्ट कर दो। डीमैट में ही इशू कर रहे हो तो डिपॉजिटरीज एक्ट के अकॉर्डिंग। Is this clear to everyone? Now, before we proceed ahead, I think I should take up some questions with you. Read this question and give me the answers in the chat box. Meanwhile, anyone having any doubts can ask me. Otherwise, no doubts. I can see that, no doubts now. Please read this question and raise your hand. Mr. Chavan has raised his hand. Oh, sorry, Kervi Gupta. Anybody else? Or shall we give chance to Kervi?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Vita.
Ma'am, I actually had a doubt. That's why I raised my hand.
I thought you were answering for this one. Yes.
Ma'am, my doubt was that when we were reading section 29, we were talking about subsection 1A. So we are talking about subsection 1A of the Depositories Act or section 29?
Okay, I'll just show you. It is about section 29, only that they tell you that subsection has been inserted. So it says, subsection 1 has an overriding effect. It says every company making a public offer and any other class of the companies have to issue the securities in dematerialized form as per depository. So subsection 1 of section 29 tells you this thing, that whenever you are offering a securities, they have to be in the demat. And what act tells us demat? Where is the procedure laid down for demat? Depositories Act. 1A has been inserted in the Companies Act of section 20, which says that the securities of unlisted company, please change yourself into demat. So this provision of rule 9 and 9A, तभी उसने बोला ना section rule 9A, 1A section insert हुआ है, rule 9A आया है, which tells you issue of securities in demat form by unlisted public companies. Is this clear, Bacha? All right, read this question. Let me get some water meanwhile. You can raise your hands and answer me this one. Yes, Anubhav, 1A company act का है, rule 9A भी उसी का है. Mustafa is asking section numbers and names are very important. So, Mustafa, Mr. When we are doing it, we will be doing it in the form of sections. We will be reading forms. By repeating it again and again, you will be able to memorize the sections also. Okay? It's absolutely normal to get anxious when you're reading the sections for the very first time. So don't worry. Now, who is going to give me the answer for this question 1? It's been long that I've given you this question. Kervi has again raised her hand, so let's give her a chance. Yes.
Ma'am, the remedy available to the investors is that since the company has breached section 26, subsection 4, because they have not delivered.
No need to go into the subsections. You don't need to learn the subsections. Even if you're giving contents and not properly and signing. What happened? What was the problem in this question, first of all?
Ma'am, they had allotted the shares to the investors without issuing a prospectus and without filing the prospectus with the registrar of companies.
So was it compulsory to send the prospectus? And also on the face of the prospectus, we have to write, right? That it has been already filed with the ROC. So major default has been done.
So,
now
ma'am, the
what
company shall be liable for fine.
company shall be liable for the fine, and they will have to refund the entire money which they have taken from the subscribers. And this allotment shall be held void. Now, what is the meaning of the word allotment? You have not done section 39 so far. So this question has a little bit link with section 39 also. Okay. So very good, Kervi. Good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am, according to section proviso to section 26, when shares are issued to existing members, this provision does not apply, right?
which provision does not apply?
Section 26,
Yeah.
when the shares are issued to
Are
existing
we
members.
issuing to the existing members? ये कहाँ लिखा है?
Okay, okay, understood.
You have given it a new look only to this question, huh? So if ever you're writing such kind of assumptions, make it clear that we are assuming. Here, there is no need to assume. They have clearly written have allotted shares to the investors of the company. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
All right. All right. All right. Anybody else? I hope everybody's clear on this question now. Very good, Shamli Sharma. I have read your answer. Correct. Anil. Only in case of OFS. Okay. So which penalty? 447. अभी रुक जाओ बेटा, penalty अब हम अभी आएंगे मुस्तफा penalties पे. अभी सिर्फ हमने section 26 का ही liable हो. Okay, good, good, good. Everybody has given the correct answers. Yes. Read the second question. Again, raise your hands and explain me this question. Everybody should pay attention. Good. Anybody who would like to raise their hands and answer me this one? Shamli Sharma. Very good.
In this question, relevant provision according to section number 26, subsection 1, the company should issue the the company should issue the prospectus with the dated and it should be signed. And second one, a declaration statement confirming that we are complying the provisions of Companies Act 2013. And third provision, that a declaration statement stating that
All these three
this is
acts.
not
Okay.
contrary
Yes.
to the
Three
SEBI's Act, 3 acts, and it should
All
be
the
signed by
reports and-
all the directors.
All the reports and financial information as required by SEBI and CG should also be given. Along with that, they're asking, right?
Okay.
Very good. I really liked it, Shamli, the way you have spoken the answer. Excellent. That is how you all have to learn it, okay? So they will provide such reports as specified by SEBI in consultation with CG after, along with the above stated provision, and also make a declaration that everything has been complied. Is this clear to everyone? Mr. Anil Golti is asking, in case of OFS, no prospectus. OFS, I explained you, na, bacha, when you're offering your securities to the public of that existing shareholder, that means you're offering it on the basis of prospectus. वहाँ पे deemed prospectus मान लिया जाता है, Mr. Anil. Okay, so it shall deem to be a prospectus, even in case of OFS. Let's do MCQ from section 25. Read the MCQ and give the answer in the chat box, everyone. An issuing house has issued an advertisement in 2 leading newspapers for selling the number of shares allotted to it by a company under private placement. Which of the conditions will the advertisement not deemed to be the prospectus? Have we done this one? Yes, we have done this. Issuing house, a broker, has given the advertisement for selling the number of shares under a private placement. Yes, we have done this. Advertisement was given within 6 months. Advertisement was given within 6 months, and the issuing house has paid the entire consideration. Issuing house did not pay the entire consideration. Advertisement was given within 3 months. Which is the correct answer? When it shall not deem to be the prospectus, if both the conditions, if one of the condition is satisfied, it shall deem to be prospectus. Both the conditions not satisfied, it shall not deem to be prospectus. So advertisement given after 6 months, हमारे वाले में क्या था? 6 months होना चाहिए. Entire consideration receive नहीं होनी चाहिए. यहाँ पे उसने receive कर ली है. तो B is the correct one. Everybody got it? As per section 25, allotment is presumed to be made. The indenture, if OFS is made within 6 months or the date on which it is made, entire consideration is not received. Sangeetvani, why are you saying B? That is wrong. B is the correct answer. Mustafa, absolutely correct. Shamni, correct. Harsh, correct. Harsh, not A. B is the correct answer. Deepika, correct. Julie Kumari, correct. A private company cannot issue securities by rights issue, bonus issue, private placement, by issue of prospectus. Raise your hands and answer me this one. It's a very simple question. Only 2-3 students are regular in raising hands. What about others? Yes.
D option, by issue of prospectus in public.
Excellent, Shamli. D is the correct answer to this one. Okay, let's do this. This you have not done yet. Okay, a company was incorporated on 2nd December 2018. Harsh, you want to ask something?
No, ma'am.
And authorized capital of 50 lakhs, the directors of the company are in a dilemma whether to issue share certificate to the subscribers in physical form or demat form. So advise them correctly. Being an unlisted company, they can either do physical share certificate, alternatively, they can do demat. Company need to issue the shares to the subscribers only in demat form. Company having more than 100 shareholders. ऐसा मैंने कभी बोला आपको कि 100 shareholders से ही ज्यादा आपको डीमैट पे जाना है, तो ये तो कभी है. अनलिस्टेड कंपनी है तो वो फिजिकल भी कर सकती है, ऑल्टरनेटिवली दे कैन इशू इन डीमैट. बट हमने क्या पढ़ा है अभी? विद इफेक्ट फ्रॉम 2nd October 2018. So this is 2nd December, 2nd October 2018. Every company has to issue the shares according to the demat form, the procedure which is given under the Depositories Act. D तो है ही नहीं इसमें. Why are you saying D? B is the correct answer. Okay. Every public company which is making the offer of securities, they shall do it only in dematerialized. Is that clear to everyone? Shall we take a small break here? These for the previous question. Okay, Harsho. Okay. Chalo, let's take a small break. In the break, take a deep breath and read section 27, 28, and 29, and then we'll move ahead. So we are taking a break here. Yes, welcome back, students. Let's proceed ahead. Anybody having any doubts still here? All right. So now we are going to start with a new section, that is section 30. First we'll be doing 28, 29 के बाद हम करेंगे section 30. Advertisement for the prospectus. So when we did the definition of prospectus, I told you that either a document, or what is prospectus basically? It's a detailed document which is showing all the information about the company, what are your financial position, what is your object clause, how you have raised money, what kind of business are you doing, how you have utilized your money. All these details are shown in the document. And that document, which is inducing, which is motivating the public to buy shares in a company, is known as a prospectus. Now, either it can be a share prospectus or a red herring prospectus, or any advertisement which is issued is also a prospectus. So where an advertisement of prospectus is put in any manner, it is necessary to specify the following contents of the memorandum. Memorandum means document. Here, memorandum means the document that you're using. Following contents should be included in that advertisement. Number one, object. Now remember, memorandum of association has object clause, liability clause, capital clause, share subscribed authorized capital clause, तो name clause. तो वैसे हम memorandum के नाम से इसको याद कर लेंगे. कैसे याद करने सेक्शन 30 के कंटेंट्स? सेक्शन 30 मींस ऐसी एडवर्टाइजमेंट जो आपने प्रोस्पेक्टस के लिए निकाली है, उसकी क्या क्या कंटेंट्स होंगे? नेम क्लॉज, नेम ऑफ द सिग्नेटरीज टू द मेमोरेंडम, ऑब्जेक्टिव्स. लायबिलिटी क्लॉज में क्या आता था कि लायबिलिटी कितने मेंबर्स की, एंड अमाउंट ऑफ शेयर कैपिटल ऑफ द कंपनी, नंबर ऑफ शेयर सब्सक्राइब्ड बाय द सिग्नेटरीज, एंड कैपिटल क्लॉज में क्या आता था? कैपिटल स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द कंपनी. सो हम अगर इसकी एब्रीवेशन हम ऐसे बनाएंगे ना, OL, तो आपको मुश्किल आएगा. तो इसकी एब्रीवेशन आपने लर्निंग के लिए बना लेनी है. N name clause, O object clause, L liability clause, shares taken up, S, and C is for the capital structure. So NOLSC, NOLSC, you will remember section 30 contents. That is how you can learn it. But learning you have to do. There is no escape route from the learning, because in CA intermediate you have huge syllabus, and for exams you have to write the content. And for writing the content, you have to memorize and retain the information in your mind. अनुभव मलिक वो जो दिया है ना, सिक्योरिटीज कैन बी इशूड, वो कहते हैं दैट इज एज पर द कंपनीज एक्ट, जो ऑलरेडी इशूड है. बट फर्दर इफ यू विल बी इशूइंग, रूल 9 एंड 9A जो इंसर्ट हुआ है, वो कहता है कि नाउ 2 अक्टूबर 2018 के बाद every security will be issued in the demat form. Is that correct? All right. So everybody has understood. So any advertisements that you're giving in the prospectus, following contents of the memorandum, this is how you have to memorize it. Now let's see question number 3, which is related to this. Kia Limited decided to issue 1 lakh securities of the company. The company decides to publish the advertisement in the newspaper. So they are issuing the prospectus, and the company has decided to publish advertisement for this prospectus. So section 30 says whenever any advertisement is coming for the prospectus, following contents are necessary. So he's asked you enumerate to the company about the contents of the memorandum. Section 30, where any advertisement is being published in any manner, it is necessary to specify following contents: objectives, liability of members and amount of share capital, names of the signatories, number of shares taken up by the signatories, and capital structure. Name, liability, object, shares taken up, and capital. All right, children, clear, everyone? Now let's start with types of prospectus. Shelf prospectus. Now this is very, very interesting. How many of you like going to the bakeries and having the coffees and cakes and pastries over there? Have you seen whenever you go to the bakery shop, they have, Anil, have you raised hand for this bakeries or for what? First, listen to my question. I'm just trying to make it a little more interesting because the topic is very, very heavy. So we have to keep adding the fun element and happiness so that you enjoy studying. Okay. So shelf prospectus means shelf life. So we were on the cakes and pastries. So whenever we go to the bakeries shop, we always ask them that, are these pastries fresh? Why do we ask this? Because the pastries generally have a shelf life. They have a lot of milk product, cream on putting or loaded on it. So maybe after 3 days or 5 days or 4 days, they get sour. The taste changes. Okay, it's not as fresh as it is on the first or second. So that is known as a shelf life of any product. Similarly, our prospectus also has a shelf life. So when I want to raise money again and again, now I'm a company ABC Limited and I prefer, once I've raised the money, I've came up an IPO when I raised the money for the very first time. But if I'm a company which is notified by SEBI, which is given the permission to raise a money through shelf prospectus, then shelf prospectus allows me to issue this prospectus for validity of 1 year period. And in this 1 year, I can again and again ask for the money from the public. So we call it, this prospectus has a shelf life of 1 year. Its validity is for 1 year. Like I told you, the pastries have for 1 or 2 days. Similarly, we have a shelf prospectus, which has a shelf life, means it will be placed. Once you have issued that prospectus, you don't need to issue the prospectus again and again, because issuing a prospectus is a huge task. So much content of section 26, you have read 34, 35 liabilities, everything is applicable. So it becomes a tedious task for many companies like banks and NBFCs, which are shelf in its own sense. Yes, yes, Anil. So that means the same way. Okay. So where were we? Yes. So for 1 year, you have issued the shelf prospectus. So in that 1 year, again and again, if the company wants to raise the money, they can raise money on the basis of that very shelf prospectus. But say, for example, I raised the money on 1st April 2025. I issued a shelf prospectus. Its validity is till 1st April 2026. But after 5 months, I was in need of money. So tell me one thing, children, that I have issued a shelf prospectus on 1st April 25 of my financial position, my P&L, everything was located over there. Don't you think in another 4-5 months, my... Yes, Mustafa, that is a great abbreviation that you've learned. Good. Now pay attention towards shelf prospectus. Okay. So now we have... after 5 months, my financial position of the company might have been changed. I might have sold certain assets. I might have incurred more liabilities. Some loan I have taken. So don't you think that the investors who are going to invest in my company after 5 months, they need to know the changes that has happened in my company? So, but I will not be issuing a prospectus again, because I told you the shelf prospectus has a shelf life of 1 year. Then how will I inform them? How will I inform them? I will issue the information memorandum. A document will be issued on the basis of which I will be telling them the changes that has taken place in the financial position of my company. And this shelf prospectus, along with the information memorandum, shall deem to be a what? Shall known as deemed prospectus. Shelf prospectus plus information memorandum together is known as deemed prospectus. Understood? Yes, Prajapati, Vedant, everybody correct answers for the previous one. Pooja B, Nitya, good. Team Mujamid, Mujahid, Harsh Mishra. Okay. Let's move ahead now. Let's read what is shelf prospectus. Shelf prospectus means the prospectus in which securities or class of securities included in one or more issues over a certain period of time. Means एक time period के ऊपर बार बार अगर आपको issue of securities करना पड़ रहा है तो आप shelf prospectus issue कर सकते. Here there is no need to issue prospectus every time. However, we make the information memorandum which shows us the changes in the financial position of the company. So it is a very convenient method for regulating the issue of securities. No fresh prospectus is required every time. It has a shelf life with the registrar at the time of first offer of securities. Company files the shelf prospectus with the registrar. पहले issue करने से पहले आप public को issue करने से पहले ROC को file करोगे. It always has a shelf life and is available for the public to view. Validity period is 1 year. And when does it start? From the date of opening of first offer of securities, not from the date of filing with the ROC. When you have filed it with the ROC and you have come for the first time of offer of securities, from the date of opening of first offer of securities, it is valid for 1 year. No further prospectus is required for subsequent offers. पहले IPO के बाद अब FPO करते थे. तो share prospectus में do you really need FPO? No, you don't need FPOs. However, company will need to file information memorandum in form PAS2. Kuldeep, you're asking for after how much time? 1 month prior to every fresh offer. So आप 5 months बाद ला रहे हो, 6 months बाद ला रहे हो, 8 months बाद ला रहे हो, जब भी आप fresh offer ला रहे हो, उस ऑफर को लाने से 1 month पहले आपको इंफॉर्मेशन मेमोरेंडम PAS2 फॉर्म में कंपनी को फाइल करना पड़ेगा. And what all is to be given in this information memorandum? All the material facts related to changes in the financial position from the earlier and first issue to the current and proposed issue. Whatever changes has occurred, that has to be disclosed in the information memorandum. So what is the form number that we have to use? What was PAS1 form? Let's revise quickly. What was PAS1? सोच लो. Excellent. The advertisement in the newspaper when you are making variation, section 27. Very good, Mr. Chavan. Deepika. Others are scrolling their books, finding out the pages. Scrolling, huh? Better word. Keep on scrolling net all the day. So now you cannot find it. And what is PS2? PS2 form is for the information memorandum. Correct, everyone? Any applicant giving the subscription money shall be intimated about. Now we have to tell the applicant, some applicants have already given the advance money. So when I came up with my shelf prospectus, Mr. B was so happy. He said, please take advance money from me. I'm going to take shares in your company. And now when I've issued my information memorandum after 3 months or 5 months, whenever I've issued, they are not happy with the changes that I've made in my company's financial position. So they want to withdraw their application. If this applicant wants to withdraw his application, company shall refund all the money within 15 days. So 15 दिनों में company इसका पैसा refund करे. So share prospectus की life कितनी है? 1 year from the date of first opening. Information memorandum कब issue करना है? 1 month prior to the offer, subsequent offer. And applicant का पैसा कितने टाइम में रिटर्न करना है? 15 days में आपको उसका पैसा रिटर्न करना. तो 1 year, 1 month and 15 days are the important dates which are related with the share prospectus. And information memorandum shall deem to be a part of the prospectus. So we say share prospectus plus information memorandum is equal to deemed prospectus. Write down in your study, in your book. Clear to everyone? Let's read it from the study material also once. So shelf prospectus, one or more issues for a certain period of time, then you can issue shelf prospectus. Companies required to issue prospectus every time capital market unnecessary repetition happens because more than 1 year offering the securities, then it becomes unnecessary of efforts again and again you're issuing. So this remain valid for a specified time period, that is 1 year time period. First, you have to file it with the registrar. Period of validity, I've already told you, not more than 1 year. And then it starts from the date of opening of first share offer. For subsequent, no need of further prospectus information memorandum is fine. It tells all the material changes that you have made, changes in the financial position, any other changes. Provision to subsection 2 क्या कहता है? Safeguard to the applicants who have made the payment in advance. So if any applicant is not happy with and they don't want the allotment of securities and they're not happy with the changes that you have made, within how many number of days their money shall be refunded? Very good, Miss Nitya M. I'm glad everything is clear to you. Shamli, 15 days. Deepika, 15 days. Others sleeping. Still thinking. Very good, Nitya. Very good, Julie Kumari, 15 days. Prerna, good. Pooja B, good. Fatima, good. Adil Khan. So keep your presence alive in the class, children. Anubhav Mishra, good. Very good, Mr. Mustafa. I'm glad you've understood it so nicely. Anubhav Malik, 15 days. Kuldeep and P. Mujahid, 15 days. Good. So rule 10 tells you that it has to be in PS2 form and any subsequent offers 1 month prior to the issue you have to give. Information memorandum along with the shelf prospectus is deemed prospectus. Applicant made the applications for allotment along with the advance payment of the subscription. If he wants to withdraw his application after changes comes to his knowledge, company will refund the money at discretion of board of directors. Company will deduct the charges and then give it in 15 days. Company will refund within 15 days after deducting the charges within 30 days. What is the correct answer and why? I want why also. C is the correct answer. वो तो लिखा ही हुआ है book में. सामने दिख रहा है. Raise your hand and tell me why C. Why not B? And why C? Because, ma'am, in provision to section 31, clause subsection 2, it's clearly written that if the company has issued the information memorandum and the applicant is not satisfied, please refund their money within 15 days. It is nowhere written that you need to deduct the charges. So the company shall refund all the money within 15 days thereof. Clear? सबको शेल्फ प्रोस्पेक्टस समझ आ गया? ठीक है, सब सेक्शन लर्न करने की जरूरत नहीं है. सेक्शन 31 is everybody has understood. One point I wanted you all to write. Only SEBI notified companies can issue shelf prospectus. Only SEBI notified companies can issue shelf prospectus. Generally, banks or NBFCs, the companies that need money again and again. However, now only SEBI notified companies can issue the shelf prospectus. Prakhar Limited wants to raise the share capital by issuing the equity shares in different stages over a certain period of time. So they do not want to issue prospectus each and every time, considering the provisions of Companies Act. Discuss what formalities they can do to avoid the repeated issue of prospectus. Second is, what is the meaning of shell prospectus? Explain the important provisions related to issue of shell prospectus. I give you all 2 minutes to write the answer to this question in the chat box. Or you can raise your hands. Thank you, Mustafa. I'm glad you're finding it interesting and the clarity is good. Sahil Kumar, answer this one now. Prajot, Lavanya, good answer. Please answer for this one. Sangeet, Pani, everybody. Anubhav Mishra, are you writing about a red herring prospectus? That is going to come up in a while. So everybody have given the correct answer for this one. So how do you issue? You will be issuing a shell prospectus. Section 31 tells us SEBI notified companies may file a shell prospectus on their first offer, not a period exceeding 1 year. Every time you commence from the date of opening of first offer, and for subsequent offer, no need of further prospectus. For repeated and subsequent issue, you have to file information memorandum, which tells all the changes that have taken place between the first offer and subsequent. Therefore, Prakhar will comply with the provisions, and 1 month wala time likh dena information memorandum ka, and also 15 days applicant refund is not required. Clear? Any doubts in shell prospectus, anyone? Sangeetwani and T. Mujahid, absolutely correct answer. Should I show you form PS1 and PS2 also, because as promised? See, I again forgot, you did not even remind me. Also, I had to show you the prospectus, how the contents are contained over there. Okay, it's taking a while to open it. Just a second. All right, I'll show you later on. Let's complete red herring prospectus, then I'll show you together. So what is red herring prospectus? Now, majorly, the prospectus which is issued is known as red herring prospectus. This method is also known as book building method. What do you call this? Book building method. Wait a second, let me just see why it's not opening. Just a second, students. All right. Maybe some problem in the network. So prospectus which does not include the complete particulars of the quantum or price of the securities is known as red herring prospectus. So red herring, yes, Adil Khan, I will show you the same. Red herring prospectus is one in which complete details are not given over there. Okay. So general prospectus that we issued is red herring prospectus. It is also known as book building method. Now, what happened is the companies have thought there is a company which is thinking to come up with the prospectus. It is in need of money. Which company we generally refer? ABC Limited. They thought, okay, let me raise the total share capital of 10 lakh rupees. How much share capital I'm going to raise? Total share capital of 10 lakh. And they will issue a prospectus that we are going to raise a prospectus money dash number of shares at dash price per share is equal to 10 lakhs of the share capital. So the total amount of share capital is given, but quantum of shares and price of shares is not given over there. This kind of prospectus is known as red herring prospectus. Company which is making an offer of securities may issue a red herring prospectus prior to the issue of prospectus. So before issuing my final prospectus, I have thought to issue a red herring prospectus just to take an analysis from the market. What could be the investors? How many potential investors are taking interest in my company? And just to determine the price per share. Now you tell me one thing. In shelf prospectus, we have taken the example of cakes and bakeries for the shelf life. For red herring prospectus, I am going to take the example of buying or purchasing a car. So what kind of car? What is your dream car? Quickly tell me in the chat box so that you stay awake. Okay, Mercedes, Lamborghini, somebody is saying. Oh my God. Audi, Bentley, Porsche. ये तो थोड़ा करेटा या किया भी बोल देते चलो anyways good dreams था so, Maruti 800 that's nice as of now that's good okay so now tell me one thing Adil Khan has written Porsche so if you go to buy Porsche you will directly go to the showroom and they will tell you that it is for this much amount will you just pay and come out or would you like to do the analysis of the price with different dealers and showrooms? This is what a common man will do. If I'm buying a car, I'm buying an Alto car. So I'll go to showroom A, I'll go to showroom B, I'll try to do the analysis. I'll try to see which showroom is offering me a good price. So I will do the analysis of the price. Similarly, when a company is coming up with a prospectus, they are not sure that what we have to keep the price per share. So they have big qualified institutional investors, buyers who are going to help them. They are known as qualified institutional buyers. They are the valuers, banks, experts, जो उनकी help करेंगे price per share को determine करने. या तो वो देखेंगे कि हम ऐसा एक prospectus निकाल देते हैं कि 10 लाख रुपया मुझे चाहिए, but I don't know how many people will subscribe. So for example, 1 lakh people have taken up the shares. So what will be the price per share? 10 lakhs divided by 1 lakh, 10 per share. Or the qualified institutional buyers have helped me to find out that the price of the share, the way we are getting a response from the market, rupees 100 per share will be the price. So now how many shares I'm going to raise? 10 lakh is the total capital. हमने price determine कर लिया at the rate rupees 100 per share. So 10 lakh divided by 100 कितना हुआ? Hurry up in the chat box. How many shares? Thank God, 10,000 likha, 1 lakh likha. 10 lakh, 10,000 shares. Absolutely correct. Everybody who has written 10,000 shares, absolutely correct. So got an overview about red herring prospectus. Now let's read it from line to line. One kind of prospectus which does not have complete particulars relating to the quantum and the price. Company is proposing to make the offer. Red herring prospectus prior to the issue of prospectus. It has to be filed with the registrar at least 3 days before you open the subscription list. So 3 days prior to the opening of the offer, you will file it with the registrar. It has the same obligations as the prospectus. So whatever the content, section 26 you have studied, all are the part of red herring prospectus. And if any variation happens, so you issued a red herring prospectus. Now you have come to know that this is the price and this is the number of shares. And whatever financial positions have changed during this time period, all these changes and variations should be highlighted in the main prospectus. And when you close the offer, the prospectus, not the red herring prospectus, the prospectus will tell the total capital, closing price, and other details which were not included in red herring prospectus. File it with the registrar and SEBI. Securities and Exchange Board of India के साथ आप फाइल कर दोगे and ROC के साथ आप फाइल कर दोगे. So red herring prospectus, now that was law. This is my easy language for you. It does not include the important information of price and quantity. Company wants to raise the money from public, they will have to file with ROC red herring prospectus 3 days before. Company is trying to find the price of their securities. वो पता कर रहे हैं कि हमारी सिक्योरिटीज का प्राइस क्या होगा डिस्कवरी प्रोसेस मेथड से थ्रू बुक बिल्डिंग. So I will show you prospectus. It is written over there, dated, signed, and book building method. Red herring prospectus is sent to the QIBs. They are known as qualified institutional buyers. These are the finance companies, experts from the stock market, so that they know what kind of quotations can be given for the shares. And this is generally used in case of initial public offer. मैं first time market में अपना prospectus लेकर आ रही हूँ, मुझे नहीं पता कि किस तरह का response मिलेगा, लोग मेरे shares लेंगे या नहीं, whether I'll be adapted well in the market or not. So I come up with the red herring prospectus. Investors must read the red herring prospectus before taking up the shares in the company. Before you take up the shares in the company, you must read the red herring prospectus. So red herring prospectus has complete information, details about the company, and if you are investing, you have to read the red herring prospectus in detail. So it is just a unique method given for the price per share to be determined. Clear? Let's read it from the module also once. So section 32 talks about red herring prospectus, which does not contain the complete particulars of the quantum or the price of the share. It is the most favorable market conditions, innovative method of raising funds, so that we can get to know what are the favorable market conditions, how many people are going to like my company or not. Timing the issue and book building are facilitated by the concept of red herring, wherein the price per security and number of shares are left open to be decided. मतलब हमने ना तो प्राइस डिटरमिन करा है, ना हमने नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स डिटरमिन करे हैं. They have been kept open to be decided by the closure of the issue. Market will decide what will be the price of my share. 3 days prior to the issue of prospectus, it has to be issued. Timing to be issued is 3 days prior to the opening of the offer. Information memorandum कब फाइल करना होता था? Information memorandum कब फाइल करना होता था? 1 month prior to the offer. Red herring prospectus कब करना है? 3 days prior to the offer. Same obligations, and any variation has to be highlighted in the prospectus. Total capital raised upon closing the offer. Upon closing the offer, total capital raised, price per share, and the number of shares will be decided. Book building is actually a price discovery method. Company hasn't fixed up the price, but instead the price range is fixed. So generally what happens, children, the companies have fixed price range. वो ना एक range दे देते हैं कि मतलब 10 से लेकर 100 रुपीस की range मैंने fix कर दी, और वो मैंने qualified institutional buyers को बता दिया कि इसके बीच में आप मेरा price fix कर. So what is the meaning of book building method? It is a price discovery method. We are trying to find the price per share. I don't know what is the particular price for my share, but I have fixed a range for the price. Underwriter builds a book by accepting the orders from funds manager, indicating the number of shares they desire and the price that they're willing. So there is an underwriter, a broker, a person, intermediary who will do this, will take the orders from the funds manager and they will decide the number of shares person is taking and willing to take at the pages. Yes, red herring prospectus is of 400 to 500 pages, Anubhav, absolutely correct. So it becomes very difficult to read all this. That's why we have Abridged prospectus coming up for all of you. Kuldeep, have you understood now, bacha, what is book building? Book building method is a price discovery mechanism, method of obtaining the price for the shares. Everybody just go through this once. Finally, my NICA prospectus has got opened. So here it is, draft red herring prospectus. Let me just enlarge it. So when NICA came up with initial public offer, it issued the red herring prospectus will be updated once it has been filed with ROC. Please read section 32 of the Companies Act, 100% book building offer. Means उनको price per share नहीं पता है, वो 100% book building ले रहे हैं. 1 August 2021 को आया था. NICA FSN E-Commerce Ventures Limited, company का नाम. Our company was incorporated under the provisions of the Companies Act, dated so and so, issued by the Registrar of Companies, ROC, where I wanted to show you. Let me just take you there. It is coming up with the initial public offer up to dash equity shares of face value of ₹1 each. Can you see, children? They have not given price of dash per equity share, offer price aggregating to dash million, the offer comprising up to 5250 million, the fresh issue. मतलब aggregate total दिया हुआ है, ना ही उसने price per share दिया है, ना ही उसने number of shares दिए. The offer price, the face value, the price band will be decided in consultation with the selling shareholders committee and the lead bankers. So 590 pages. Yeah, I'm not expecting you to read all these pages, but I wanted to show you how the actual book building prospectus looks like. Okay. Now I'm going to show you shelf prospectus. You have seen red herring prospectus, अभी देखा हमने. Upon the closing of the offer, अनुभव कि जब final हो रहा है ना, जब हमारा price determine होता है, qualified institutional. What is contained in 590 pages? Mustafa, you should better open and read it in your free time. It contains all the entire financial information about the company. So here is the Mahindra and Mahindra Financial Services Limited shelf prospectus. So Mahindra ने shelf prospectus निकाला था 29 June 2017 को, because they were in need of raising money again and again. So you can see that it is written as amended, granted a certificate of incorporation. पहले company की detail दी हुई है, register office बताया है. Public issue by Mahindra Financial Services up to rupees 2 crore unsecured redeemable non-convertible debentures, face value of rupees 1000 each. यहाँ पे शेयर प्रोस्पेक्टस में प्राइस भी दिया हुआ है चिल्ड्रन. प्लीज सी aggregating to rupees 2 lakh shelf life. The NCDs will be available. Non-convertible debentures issue करें. Can we say debentures is a security? Yes or no? आता है ना डिबेंचर सिक्योरिटी की डेफिनेशन. वेरी गुड. So here it is how it looks. Shell prospectus, all these promoters, creditors, rating has been given. Table of content, risk factors, capital structure बताया होगा कंपनी का. So उस पे क्लिक करा तो capital structure खुल गया. 831 pages का. All right. So if I try to show you the other things from this. So if you click on any of the headings given over there, regulations and policy history and main objects क्या है, सारी company का pattern. You just click on the button and all the prospectus is briefly, nicely drawn and related. ठीक है बेटा? Any doubts in red herring and shell prospectus? PAS2 फॉर्म किस चीज के लिए यूज होता है? What is the use of PAS2 form? Information memorandum अभी करा हमने, ये लो. Information memorandum form also can be seen by you on the screen. So this is how it looks. Filing of information memorandum. You get all these forms on the MCA website, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. You have to download it from there and fill it. So it contains all the laws, purpose, important points. Read the lines before filling the application form. सारे details दी हुई है उसकी. Company का identification number दिया जाएगा, name of the company, address, details of securities being offered, and what are your secured debts, unsecured debts. I told you all the changes you have to show. Certificate by practicing professional, particular chartered accountant, his membership number will also be written over here, who is signing it. Okay, when you become CAs, you will have to fill such kind of forms if you're dealing with the company related matters. Is that fine? So you have seen 2 prospectus today and 1 form also. Only PS1 form is left, which I'm going to show you in the next class. Okay, shall we move ahead? Finding it easy so far? Tell me, children. Understanding everything? Adil Khan, red herring ka validity is till the time you give the final prospectus. 3 days prior to the opening of the fresh issue, it has come. So it is giving us the time for determining the price. Once the price is determined, then it becomes, then the main prospectus may convert ho jayega. And I'm so happy to read. Super easy. Wow, Anubhav. Great. Abhinav, sorry. Good. That means you're understanding. So let's move ahead. Abridged prospectus, section 33. Now, all those my dear students who were saying, ma'am, 590 pages, 831 pages font padega. So if Harleen ma'am wants to buy shares of Reliance and I'm just thinking to invest 2,000 rupees, a minor amount. Do you think I'll be sitting over here and reading those 831 or 1,000 plus pages? I will not be interested in reading so much information. I have a general awareness that Reliance is doing well. I want to buy 2,000 shares. I want to invest 2,000 in their company, or maybe I want to buy 100 shares of their company. So for such people, abridged prospectus can be referred. It is again a memorandum. Memorandum means a document which contains the silent features. Silent features means summary of the prospectus as may be specified by SEBI. So, abridged prospectus, remember the first day, first chapter, preliminary, you must have read the first definition, deals with the abridged prospectus definition. So, abridged prospectus contains the summary of the important features of the prospectus which are specified by SEBI. Every application of subscription shall be accompanied by a bridge prospectus. So every share application, so when I'm issuing a prospectus, I also give a share application to the applicants. So when, if say for example, ABC, you're investors, you want to invest in my company, you have read my prospectus, you want to invest. So I give you a copy of a bridge prospectus along with every share application. शेयर एप्लीकेशन दूंगी ना मैं आपको कि आप इसको भरकर आप अपने अप्लाई कर दीजिए शेयर्स. सो हर शेयर एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म के साथ कॉपी ऑफ अब्रिज्ड प्रोस्पेक्टस जाती है. ये समरी होती है जिसमें सारी डिटेल दी होती है ब्रीफली अबाउट whatever is contained in the prospectus. However, there are exceptions. If invitation is being sent by underwriters, then abridged prospectus is not required. If there is no public offer means there is a private placement, then also abridged prospectus is not required. But if the copy of prospectus is requested, it shall be made available before the closing of the subscription list. Closing of the subscription list means जब तक आपकी list open है, subscription open है, उसके पहले आपको final prospectus की copy दे देनी चाहिए. So ma'am, what do I have to learn? Abridged prospectus definition. It's a memorandum which contains the silent features, a summary about all the details of the prospectus. Along with every share application form, abridged prospectus has to be given. Point number 3, it is not applicable if underwriters are inviting or if it is a private placement. Point number 4, somebody has asked that I want to see the full prospectus. Please give them the copy of full prospectus also. You don't have to delay. So it is not applicable if bona fide invitation is done by underwriting agreements. What is underwriting agreements? When we do section 40, we understand. When the shares are not offered to public means it's a private placement, section 42. Then abridged prospectus is not required. When the offer is made to the existing members, means it's the case of right issue or bonus issue. When right shares or bonus shares are being done, then also abridged prospectus is not required. If anyone has requested a copy of prospectus, then before closing the list, it should be given. Any default in this company, 50,000 rupees penalty will be charged. Everyone clear about the abridged prospectus? Do you want 2 minutes break to read red herring, shelf, and abridged prospectus from the study material? So that I can take up questions related to that as well. All right. So, sir, we are giving them 2 minutes break here. All right, welcome back, students. Please raise your hands if you have any queries. Yes, Anubhav.
Good evening, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, Anubhav. Good evening.
Abridged prospectus का जो exception का clause है
Loud, loud, loud. I can't hear you.
मैम abridged prospectus का exception पहला exception तो समझ में नहीं आया.
Abridged prospectus, the exceptions you're saying.
हाँ मैम.
So it is basically a summary of prospectus having silent features. But if the underwriter is doing the invitations for you, what is underwriting agreement? That I told you we'll understand under section 40. Then abridged prospectus is not required. Second, if you're not making a public offer, means you're doing a private placement. Abridged prospectus is not required. When you are giving the shares to the existing shareholders, that is rights issue or the bonus shares, then also the abridged prospectus is not required. Is that clear? All right. Anybody else having any doubts? No doubts? Then be ready for a test. Read the question on the screen and everybody is going to answer. ABC Limited proposes to issue series of debentures frequently within a period of 1 year to raise the funds without undergoing the complicated exercise of issuing the prospectus every time of issuing a new series of debentures. Examine the feasibility of the proposal, taking into account the concept of deemed prospectus dealt under the provisions of Companies Act. What do you think would be required in this case? What would be required? Okay, Mr. Mustafa has raised his hand. Yes.
Self-prospectus under section 31.
Shelf prospectus under section 31. And what is the concept of deemed prospectus under this, beta?
Self-prospectus with information memorandum
Is known as?
within file 1 month.
Is known as?
Deemed prospectus.
Yes. This is very important line which you have to write. Well done, Mustafa. Anybody else? Okay, so how we have to write the answer? Relevant provisions, information memorandum along with the shelf prospectus shall deem to be the prospectus. It is a prospectus which is issued when again and again class of securities are to be issued. Without the issue of fresh prospectus, you can issue shelf prospectus. It is issued for any class of companies as the SEBI may provide, may file a shelf prospectus with the registrar. I told you only SEBI notified companies can issue a shelf prospectus. Of the first offer indicating a period not exceeding 1 year validity, and for subsequent offers, no need of prospectus, but you can issue the information memorandum, which is to be issued 1 month prior to the issue. So they have to take on the concept of the prospectus into consideration. Now, what is abridged prospectus? Under what circumstances it is not required? And what are the penalties for the default? Now, if such a question comes for 7 marks, I call it an ice cream question. That means icing on the cake. It is so simple. It is a straightforward question. Apply section 33. Write down, okay, Mr. MD would like to answer it. Yes, Mr. MD.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, this is question related to abridged prospectus. Where we company generally company issued the summarized prospectus instead of the
Detailed
normal
prospectus.
yes, ma'am.
And this is given with every?
Every 3 days, I guess, before the.
It is given with every share application form.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, good, Mr. MD. At least you tried. That's great. Okay, Shamli.
Relevant provision according to section 33, abridged prospectus means the statement explaining the silent features of the prospectus, which is filed along with the share application form under the circumstances where abridged prospectus need not accompany are where the shares are issued under private placement and shares are issued to underwriters and one more case, underwriters and there is one more case I forgot.
Yes. So what could that be?
Underwriters and a private
Okay,
placement.
missed. Yeah, and one more. You know that existing
Shareholders and the penalty in case the company did
penalty.
not comply with.
Chavan will tell. Chavan will tell. Good for you, Sham. Good. Yes, Chavan. What is the penalty?
In case of default by the company shall be required to pay a penalty of rupees 50,000.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. So that is how you have to, children, keep learning and revising so that it becomes crystal clear in your mind also. Well done, Shamli, Krishna, Chavan, and Mustafa, and all those who have answered. Well done. So this is, just look at the answer once. Clear, everyone? All right. Let's start with the basics of misstatement in prospectus. Then I will take you from the study material also. We'll do certain questions. What is the meaning of misstatement in prospectus? Section 40, section 34. The golden rule of prospectus is that it should give a true and fair picture regarding the company's financial position. So I told you, children, prospectus is a very, very important document on the basis of which I am going to invest my hard-earned money in your company. So that is very important that you give a true and fair picture. You should not cheat with the investors. And if you try to cheat with the investors, you give any misstatements, you give any false statements, you try to do any kind of suppression of facts, means concealment of facts. Section 34 and 35 penalties will get attracted towards you. So number one golden rule is it should have true and fair picture. Number two, if the prospectus contains untrue का मतलब क्या होता है बेटा? झूठ, false. Suppress material means hide करना material को, छुपाना, if you're trying to hide any information. Or you omit. Omit means you fail to include important material information which is affecting the decision of investors, then it is said to be a misstatement in the prospectus. So what is the meaning of including false statement? I am a company, I am into shoe business, and I write in my prospectus that we are traders of clothes. False statement. I have used an untrue statement. I am into shoe business. I'm using the word clothes. That's true. Then I am suppressing the information. I have directors, out of which one of the directors is a big celebrity in my company, but I'm not telling that fact. I'm trying to hide it. Or somebody who is not a very good person with a good reputation, that the person is also my directors, but I'm not including that information. Then that is hiding of the information. Now there is a word written, hiding of the important material information. Again, let's take a very simple layman's language example. So, Julie Kumari asked me, ma'am, that I want to visit your house. Where do you stay? So, say, for example, I gave a random house number. It's house number 3578. And I stay somewhere in Delhi. But there can be different localities. I said Delhi and house number 3578. So don't you think I have failed to give some more information? I need to tell them what could be the area, whether it's North Delhi, South Delhi, Kalkaji, Rajouri Garden, Connaught Place, or in Bombay, if I've said house number 35, I have not told them whether it's Bandra, whether it's near Juhu, where I am staying. So some material information is missed. So when I tell you that, okay, house number 3568, it's in locality A, it's in Rajouri Garden, it's in New Delhi. I also give you the pin code. So that is the complete information. Another important thing. I said the house is located near a temple. Now, maybe that temple was not 100 meters away, it was 500 meters away. Have I tried to hide any material information? I said the house is near a temple, but वो इतना भी पास नहीं था, थोड़ा दूर था. Tell me, have I tried to hide any material information? Yes or no? No, ma'am. But in the first instance, did I try to hide the material information which was important to take a decision? Julie could not come to my house if I have not given the complete address. Then it was a material information. Yes, very good, Kuldeep. If any information, so it is in, so we have understood from the layman's language. So it was affecting Julie's decision to come to my place. Similarly, if a company is hiding such material important information, which is affecting your investor's decision, whether to invest or not, then Section 34 will come into picture. But any such information where I'm simply saying that the house is there near the temple, but it is not exactly near the temple, or it is more far away from it, then that is not major material information that is being hidden. So you have to lay a lot of stress in what kind of thing is important information and what kind of thing is unimportant information. See, for example, a company is having certain associate companies, subsidiary companies, then it's an important information, child. You have to tell them. But if you're not telling and it is affecting the investor's decision, then second part is whether it affected my decision or not. So if the temple was too far from my place, did it affect its investor's decision? She might have faced a little problem in locating the location. But then it was not that very far also. So you have to pay attention in this topic that what is important information and what is materialistic and what is immaterial. So if it is Section 34 gets attracted, then all the directors, promoters, and every person who was authorized will become liable under Section 447 penalty. Now here, if Section 34 and 35 come into picture, Section 447 comes into picture. What is Section 447? Let's understand that first. Section 447 is the penalty for fraud. Means you are trying to hide important facts. You are trying to cheat with the investors and you are publishing a prospectus. Then you become liable for a penalty under 447. Now, 447 in itself is a very huge section. It says, without prejudice to any liability, including repayment of debt or any other law, any person who is guilty shall be liable. Means any other repayment of debt that you have to do, that has nothing to do with this penalty. But without affecting that, if you are found guilty of fraud, fraud मतलब धोखा दिया है, cheating करी है, गलत करा है, हाइड करा इंपॉर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन, कंपनीज के बारे में पूरी इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं दी, कंपनी के फाइनेंशियल एसेट्स 1 करोड़ के हैं, अब 10 करोड़ के दिखा दो, फ्रॉड कर रहे हो कि नहीं? यस और नो? यस, फ्रॉड है. कंपनी की लायबिलिटीज 10 करोड़ हैं, आप प्रोस्पेक्टस में 10 लाख दिखा रहे हो, फ्रॉड कर रहे हो कि नहीं? हेलो, यस और नो? आ ही नहीं रहा, कहाँ गए बच्चा? सोना नहीं है क्लास में, कीप आंसरिंग, स्टे अटेंटिव. यस, फ्रॉड है ना? गुड, थैंक्स फॉर रिस्पॉन्डिंग. You know, when you respond back, it gives me a motivation to make it more interesting. So don't put a halt in between. So here, if you're trying to do such kind of fraud where you're cheating, where you are hiding, you are not telling them correctly, then you're said to be guilty of fraud. Then what kind of punishment is given under 447? It says it's further divided into two categories. There are two limits for this. One is rupees 10 lakhs or 1% of turnover. Rupees 10 lakhs or whatever is the turnover of the company, 1% of it. Lower of two. So for example, the turnover is 50 lakhs. So children, what will be 1% of turnover? Everybody, 50,000. So now 50,000 or 10 lakhs, whatever is lower, 50,000. If the fraud that you have done is up till the amount of 50,000 and no public interest is involved, public at large has not been affected, then you will be put into jail for 6 months to 10 years and thrice the amount of fraud. And what is the amount of fraud? Whatever is the at least lower of this. So say for example, the fraud is 40,000. Then 3 times of the fraud, 1,20,000 will become your penalty that you will have to pay under 447. But if the public interest is also involved, then 3 years to 10 years and thrice the amount of fraud involved will be the penalty. But if it is less than lower of this, that means 1% of turnover. Here it is more. Sorry, children. Here it is more. Here it is 60,000. At least lower of this, na? Means in दोनों का एक limit set कर दिया हमने 50,000 से ज़्यादा है. Or less than lower of this 40,000 है. So till 5 years there will be a jail and up to 50 lakh or both will be the penalty. Now children, 447 is something that we'll have to learn. Because when you were in CA Foundation or even when you have done incorporation of companies, there also a reference. In CA Foundation also you got a reference of section 447. While doing incorporation of companies also you would have got the reference of section 447. Section 34 and 35 also give you the penalties reference of section 447. But what is 447 is this detailed penalty that we have to learn how this provision has to be applied. In the next class, when we meet on Monday, I will be giving you more examples of 447 because abhi we have just done a go through of the law that is written over. But when we do more practice, then this penalty will become much, much more clearer to all of you. Now, I don't want to extend section 34 because section 34 in itself is quite huge. So I just want to do one more question since we still have time. So why not do one more question from the module? Everyone has understood all the types of prospectus now. Usme to koi dikkat nahi. Misstatement prospectus is very, very huge. I don't want to confuse you all because you already have lots of work that we have done in today's class. So you have to learn that also. Modern Furniture Limited issued a document containing offer of securities for sale that is considered as deemed prospectus under section 25, which requires that the document must contain the matters and disclosures in addition to those which are given under section 26. So which of the following statements are correct? So we understood section 25 requires us some additional matters to be given, remember? Right? So which statement is held true? A statement of the net amount received or to be received as consideration for the securities to which it relates. Yes, ma'am. ऐसा तो कुछ था वहाँ पे. Person making were named as prospectus as the promoters of the company. Yes. Time and place of the underlying contract for a loan. So what will be the correct answer? 1 and 2 only? 1 and 3? 2 and 3? Or all of these above? in the chat box without cheating. Quickly, I want the answer for the Sims. Very good, Kuldeep. Pooja B, very good. Shamli, check your answer carefully. Don't you think person making the offer named as prospectus were also there? Check it. Or a few. Be very careful. Yes. So, let me just see if you've done the correct or not. So let me show you the reference of this section once again. Additional matters were the net amount to be consideration received. Yes, ma'am, this is to be included. Time and place under which the contract is inspected. Person making the offer are named as directors of the company. What is written in the question? Person making the offer were named as promoters of the company. So now do you all agree that B was the correct answer? The option 1 and the option, what happened? The option 1 and the option 3 were the correct. Why second is not correct? Because it is written promoters. Very good, Sangeetvani. Excellent. Kuldeep immediately answered D. That was just to confuse you. 1 and 2, ma'am. Aditya, no, wrong. Lavanya, C. C to kabhi bhi nahi tha, beta. 1 and 3 is the correct answer. All right. All right, students. So I hope you have enjoyed today's session and we have done plenty of learning. And I'm so happy to see your patience level because the today's lecture was a little heavy. Yes, no, Kuldeep, that will not be included because it is specifically telling you that now the person who were named in the prospectus will be considered as directors. That is why we have to give the exact name. All right. I can see ma'am is also here. Good evening, ma'am. How are you? So good to see you.
Good evening, and good evening to my dear students also. So, Muhammad has raised his hand.
Yes.
So just solve this query. Then I was just seeing that students were asking about 447. I think they are a bit confused in how to learn it. So just solve this query, and then I will give them a small thing that how they can learn it easily.
All right, sure, ma'am. Okay, let's listen to you, Mr. MD, and then we'll get back to.
Ma'am, could you please tell me the previous? Actually, I haven't watched the previous classes. So how will I access the classes? Is there any option?
Okay, Shraddha ma'am, would you like to comment on this? How he can access the previous lecture? That means the day before yesterday's lecture, now. It's a recorded lecture. You can watch it at the portal.
Okay, from the YouTube? Yeah, from this portal. Actually, I tried, but I couldn't. I was not able to access this that classes. There is no link of that.
Okay, I think ma'am will be able to answer you on this.
Okay, ma'am.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, not a problem. So all those who are having little worries about 447, ma'am is going to give you a good clarification on the same as well. And again, we have just done a run through of 447. In detailed discussion, we will be doing after we have completed section 34 and section 35. All right. Let me just go through once. I hope there are no more queries because then ma'am will be talking with you. Thank you, Mustafa. I'm great that you have written such a beautiful comment and you've enjoyed the session. That's wonderful. Yes, Shamli, your answer was correct. 1 and 3 was the correct option in that. Okay, Shraddha ma'am, is ma'am here?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay, actually, there was some unstable connectivity on my part. So,
Okay.
students, you were getting a bit confused on how to remember this section 447. So, one trigger point for this section is you need to be guilty of fraud. Always remember that whenever you are reading any section, just remember that what is the trigger point for section, especially in case where penalties are involved. So in this question, the trigger point is guilty. The word that you have to remember is guilty. And what you have to be guilty about is guilty of fraud. Okay. Then another thing that you need to remember is that you, ma'am, can you open that page
447,
from the
yes.
study material? Can you share that?
Okay, from study, or I think, okay,
Or if you have made something on your own, then that page.
I'll open from the study also once.
No, you open anything. Okay. So if we see this, you may think that how we will remember it. Let's use a mnemonic for it. In first class that we took, we said that you may use mnemonics for such things. So in this case, you can make a simple mnemonic like something like 6, 10, 1, 3. So how then you have to remember it? So write it somewhere. 6, 10, 1, 3. Okay. So 6 months in jail or what? 6 months in jail and the maximum time period is 10 years max in jail. Then 1 times, if the fraud is minimum, then 1 times the amount of fraud, and if it has to be maximum, it is 3 times the fraud fine. Okay. And then supposedly the public is suffering. You start with 3. So 6, 10, 1, 3. भी आपको ये learn करने में ना मुश्किल लग रहा होगा. But the moment you keep on repeating it, 6, 10, 1, 3, 6, 10, 1, 3. 2 या 3 बार के बाद आपको ये mnemonic याद हो जाए. Or some of you can tell me a better mnemonic for this. Can any one of you give me a better mnemonic? Just reply in the chat box. Use your creativity. Because at the end of the paper, this is what will, at the end of the syllabus, this is what you have to take from here. Any teachers will come and go, but this is the knowledge that you will have. Ma'am, you suggest anything?
Ma'am, I think they can also do the half of, like, when the penalty is a little more higher, then we are going up till 10 years. And if it is below the limit, then we do the half of 10 years, that is 5 years.
Yes. So that is like 6, 10, 1, 3 and then 10 का half 5. कहीं ना कहीं आपको learn करने की टेक्निक सीखनी पड़ेंगी. तो 6, 10, 1, 3 थोड़ा आपको अभी बोलने में अटपटा लग रहा है, but if you repeat it 5, 6 times, तो आपको learn हो जाएगा. 6 minimum, 10 highest. 1, 3 is like minimum 1 and 3 times the maximum. आप अपनी बुक में जहां पे भी आप पढ़ रहे हो ना, ऐसी चीजें अब लिखना शुरू करो. And after 2 to 3 times आपको ये चीजें learn होने शुरू हो जाएंगी. अब there is a very big trigger point in this. If you bold the point 10 in this, like if you are writing 6, 10, 1, 3, just bold the point 10 और उसको या different color से लिख लो. तो 10 का यहाँ पे 3 बार हमारा significance है. आपको जो लिमिट्स हम यूज कर रहे हैं वो 10 लाख से यूज कर रहे हैं. हम ईयर्स जो मैक्सिमम है वो 10 लाख से 10 ईयर्स से यूज कर रहे हैं, एंड देन जो हमारा ईयर्स हमारा लास्ट लेग आ रही है उसमें हम मैम ने से बोला उसको हाफ कर रहे हैं. सो जस्ट कीप सच थिंग्स इन माइंड. इसको लिख के देखना, फिर नेक्स्ट क्लास में अगर मैम आपसे पूछेंगी हरलीन मैम इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास डू आस्क देम. अभी बच्चों को ये ना इतना इंटरेस्टिंग समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. जस्ट राइट इट
Yes,
समवेयर
ma'am.
6, 10, 1, 3 और
6,
10
10,
को
1, 3.
बोल्ड करवा लेना.
Done, ma'am. Sure, sure.
So they
Because
will remember.
Definitely, ma'am. Definitely.
So that's a bit of a kind of mnemonics from my side for you guys. Next time, I want something from you also, क्योंकि हम जिस तरीके से सोचेंगे और आप जिस तरीके से सोचेंगे उसमें थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस हो सकता है. So be interactive on this, and ma'am next time it's your responsibility कि आप मुझे मैसेज करके बताओगे कि किस किस बच्चे ने आपको कौन कौन सा mnemonic दिया है on 447.
Done, ma'am. Done. For sure, ma'am.
So that's all from my side in this class. And thank you, all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming and energizing the students a little more with your valuable words. So thank you, students. I think आज हमने थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही पढ़ लिया, ज़्यादा ही technical चला गया. Revise it nicely and be ready and be prepared for Monday's lecture. I'm going to take your test for whatever we have done till now, and we'll be starting further more technical topics, section 34 and 35 mischief. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Manish sir. We're done. Yes.